people on their way to or part of the top 5% of individuals who dare to dream big and pursue their goals relentlessly. The 5% topic today is all about entrepreneurship and mindset. Our guest will take us on a journey about how she, Allison, has forged a path to success in the mindset industry, along with building communities from the ground up. She will shed light on the successes and the challenges of building a business. Allison will unveil the invaluable lessons learned and the strategic steps that she's taken to propel her business to success. So, Allison Williams, welcome to the 5% podcast.
Wow, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate that you invited me to be part of it, so thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to share your story today. I'm going to do a little bit of who you are and a little bit about your bio, and then give you a chance to speak to some of your own journey. So you started out at age 17 where you figured out what your passion was. Your passion was nurturing families, and you did that through being a nanny. It's quite interesting. You later became a social worker, advocating for the needs of families. You've moved to Canada. I moved to Canada as well, but much earlier than you. You moved to Canada in the year 2008. I believe you said you started in Alberta, right?
Yes, yes, in Calgary.
And then you later moved to Ontario, where we are now.
Yes.
But you began your entrepreneurship and journey at that point in time when you arrived in Canada. You've since explored a variety of ventures, from mentoring, community work, working with youth, men, women. You've done a lot. You've done a lot already. And you've now, in the past 2 years, you've established a supportive community group for Black women called the Black Women Collective. I can't wait to hear more about that. You've also received many recognitions and awards, the most recent being the City of Brampton Community Builder and Champion Honorary as of just recent, February 2024. Congrats on that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just like, you've done so much. I mean, I've done a really quick snapshot here of what you've done, but I'm so proud to have met you recently and learned of your story.
Thank you.
I would love to have you now share with our audience and our listeners more about your journey, like how you started, or however you'd like to have that journey and story unfold.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. I really started at an early age, and I know that entrepreneurialism was in my it was part of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I first, like many people, I started selling something, whether it was World Books or Mary Kay or all of those good things. I was knocking on those doors and doing that from Scentsy. Like, I really just kept doing different things, but I knew that I wanted to create my own business, and so I did. I had my first business, sole proprietor, was My Baby Bakery, where I created diaper cakes to look like 3-tier cakes. And I was really smart. I didn't want to sell them to the average person. I wanted them to be corporate. So I contacted all the corporate companies in Calgary, and I said I could take care of all your gifts for all your women. So that I had a retainer, and they would just send me an email and I would create, because it made sense that if I do it individually, it becomes personal, and you're rushing out trying to get what they want, whether they want a flames theme to, if they want, because that was my thing, I could do themes.
Okay.
But when you do corporate, you can do the same thing. So I can buy in bulk the same receiving blankets, the same blankets, and so forth. So that was my first business. And then unfortunately, when we had in Calgary with, as you know, that's the oil country, Alberta. So when we went down, my business went down. So that was the first one. And then And then I started Yellow Door Coaching in 2018. And Yellow Door Coaching was primarily set up to really work with families who needed support and needed...
And you're still in Calgary for this?
Yeah, I'm still in Calgary. And we were really working around helping families who don't normally come under the umbrella of children's services or charities. And what happened with that is as soon as I was in that, I realized, parents won't come looking or want advice around parenting because these are my thoughts, that it's so closely linked to our ego that often...
Because it's like they feel like they're being judged,
and they're a failure,
or even being graded, because I come from like you're gonna I understand. I mean, it makes sense.
I totally understood, but what I did know was that we love going to workshops and seminars about the skills of parenting or new tools, and so I decided to partner with Calgary libraries, and I would bring documentaries in, and I would fill the library. And I would have
so everyone would come in because
everybody would come in, but we would have experts on the stage that they could ask questions. And I'm telling you, I loved that. I loved it, and I was super excited. And then guess what happened?
What you lost it? It fell apart again? How? Like what? So this is 2018. 2018. Yeah. So I was just trying to frame it. Yeah. So getting together and doing live events, gone. My reputation. And then I moved. Then I moved here. So okay.
Then I moved to...
the pandemic kind of put a damper on a lot of people's businesses, especially if it required in-person and... But it brought you here to Ontario, so...
It did. Well, actually, my husband's business brought us back.
His
company brought us here, but it was time. And one of the biggest things that... so my journey changed and shifted. And there was lots of learning. There was lots of learning and understanding about what is it that I need to do? How do I need to present myself? And then I realized, not only am I in a house in the middle of a town that I don't know, Brampton. I don't know anyone here. Oh my gosh, everything has to be online. Yeah. Okay, how am I going to build reputation and bring Yellow Door to the forefront? And so...
But it's kind of business in general, I would say, Allison, that we're always having to pivot and change. And I felt like as much as the pandemic was hard on us, it actually taught us what life is really about. Like we have to become creative and be willing to make change.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that really leans into what I'm going to talk about probably later about imperfect action and about when we get time to pause, we're surprised what comes through the door. And so one of the things that came through the door for me was in that time of pause was what do I really want and what do I want to achieve? Yeah. How do I want to show up in this world? Who do I want to help and support? And I realized I actually needed to help myself. And the pause was because at that time, as you know, Black Lives Matter was really ramping up. Yes. And it really brought up this thing that I wanted for the first time to work with my community. And I had never worked for my community.
So all that you were doing back in Calgary previous was just community work in general?
As a social worker in Calgary, my background as a social worker, I worked with mental health. And in England, it was child protection and residential youth and secure. And really, despite what people believe, and there's lots of reasons, and I probably won't get into there, but you don't really get to work with people. It's very rare that I ever had a file with people that look like me on, because we don't typically get those services, or we don't want those services, and that trust issues. Yeah, true. But
we're not usually seeking out help thinking that we need it or that there's others out there to help us. We try and figure it out within our homes and our communities.
100%, yes. And even when we are at most at need, we still feel it's really difficult to step into that. Yeah. Pride and trust, like talking about it. And And often, just a little bit of research, because, I'm a little bit of a geek. I love research.
I think we're all a little bit of geeks when we're in business. It's like knowing the numbers and the stats, right? Yes.
That typically the research speaks to people who don't want to, I've lost what I was going to say there.
Oh, no, we can come back to it.
It'll come back to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, so anyway, I decided, Allison needs to figure out that what does she need in order to build and grow the Yellow Door Coaching here, and what should that look like, and who do I want to serve? Do I want to serve everybody, or do I want to niche down? Now, most of us who have been in as entrepreneurs, we do hundreds of workshops.
Yeah.
Hundreds of training, and what she's doing is all a clear message: niche down, niche down, niche down.
Yeah,
and
select your avatar, focus on that. Yeah,
and so, and then I was doing something really interesting as well. I was observing other people in my field as a parenting consultant, and realized, and then I would do something really geeky. I would Google their name and start stalking them and think, oh my gosh, this was my son keeps telling me, stop saying a ha-ha moment. Because it's not a ha-ha moment.
But it is, it's a light bulb moment, right?
My light bulb moment was that most of the women that I was Googling didn't even have as much experience, let alone qualifications as me. And yet they were on the TV, or yet they were on the news giving this me. Oh, so what's stopping me getting there? It's me.
Yes.
Oh, it's me. Oh my gosh. And it was a light bulb moment. Yes. Oh, you really need to get out of the way of yourself.
So well put.
Oh my gosh. So that was, I would say, the birth of, which was the Black Women Rising, Wearing Our Invisible Crown. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I did went back into doing some work. I spent some time with my coach. We worked around kind of my belief systems, my limited belief systems about what I was capable and what I could actually do, which was the birth of Imperfect Action. And so, and then that day I decided, after doing that work and doing a lot of work, deep work, I realized that I had to take imperfect action. If I was going to grow, it was definitely going to be imperfect action.
Excellent. I love that. Imperfect action. You know what? We're going to take, this is a great point to take a break, and we'll come right back.
Okay.
Well, amazing. Imperfect action. I think that is, I love that term. I love that concept. Getting out of your way, getting out of our way so that we can achieve success. This is what we all need to do. Women, business owners, people of color, immigrants, so let's continue on. Let's hear more. So you've talked a lot about, sort of where you've come from and how you came to where you are now. Let's continue on that. Share with us more.
Okay, so that imperfect action became my word for the year. That I had to take imperfect action daily.
Okay.
And it didn't matter what it was, but I had to take action. And the first action was to create a meetup group online. Now, if you knew my journey, that was so hard. But okay.
No, I think I agree. It sounds like it was hard because to get out of our way and to start changing and make change is hard. And to even accept that we are capable. Sometimes we just can't believe that we're capable because of all the horrible and terrible things that we've, endured or had experiences that we've led or had. That clouds our vision of how, great and how amazing we can be. But you said that's how your organization was born?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you said this is about 2 years in the making?
Yes. 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 So I did created Black Women's
Collective.
Nope.
Oh,
The first
before.
thing, there's part two to this. So it was to create so to get out of the way of myself and create what I want, what I need. And what I needed is to be in a room to talk to women that looked like me, sounded me, and knew the journey, and really understood some of the limiting beliefs that stop us from getting out of the way of ourselves. And so it was called Black Women Rising, Wearing Our Invisible Crown. But I got to tell you this. Before
Tell me.
Before we got there, before I could take imperfect action, my last act I was doing was that I needed to embody it. So I went out and I bought a crown. Oh, but then I realized, I did the research. Men and women can wear crowns, but only women can wear a tiara, which is a woman's crown. So I bought a tiara and I put it on my head and I wore it everywhere. I wore it cooking in the house. I wear it to the shops, Metro. I live on a corner plot and people walk their dogs all the time. And I wore it when I was gardening. I wore it to my husband's office. I wore it to the Home Depot. Guess what happened? My sister's daughter thought I was crazy. My husband did. But
people started asking you, wait, no? I would want to know why you're wearing it.
You know what? Even better.
And you started feeling like, I hope you started living the role of the crown or the tiara.
100%. Because people will not only ask me, people were making beelines for me. Because they wanted to know why. Is it your birthday? Happy anniversary. They were just so giddy. They came like that. That's what they looked like, that big smile. And my husband would walk in the house with this smile because he knew I was wearing my crown. So
it elicited like what you were trying to elicit for yourself. It elicited it in other people. Like other people started feeling like they were
mirror neurons. When you're happy, other people are happy. And it doesn't just physically, it's that energy. What changes the interaction was so powerful that I started waking up and I couldn't wait, because here I was. Remember, we were still in the time of the pandemic, but yet people were approaching with smiles and wanted to talk to you under their masks.
And you knew they were smiling because of their eyes. Yeah, because that's how, I learned to read people's eyes more during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see their mouths. Right? That's amazing. I love it.
So by the fourth day, I forgot to stop wearing it. And guess what? What happened was that I received the same people coming up to me, talking to me. You know why? Because I was already, the crown was there. It's invisible, but it was there. And I think that's
so powerful.
People were now making those same beelines to talk to you. Hello, good morning, on my walks, right? Oh yeah, I used to walk in the morning, so I used to wear my crown. So you can imagine what it looked like.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I did that.
Your kids were probably like, Mom has lost it.
But they know their mum's lost it. They grew up knowing that their mum said, you just feel the fear and do it anywhere. Who cares? No, do not watch anybody.
One of the most powerful books that anyone could probably read, too.
I believe so. I really do. Short story. My son, who is, he's quite renowned in his field. And he just says, he said this to me about 5 years ago. After he actually, can I just make a little thing about my son? So after he made the Forbes under 30 list, nice. Right? He made, and he said, I don't even think this was a book, but my mum used to always say, this was always her saying, just feel the fear and do it anyway. Everything that we did, from schoolwork to homework, just if we were going to game, feel the fear and do it anyway. And he goes, I don't know if actually it's a book. I'm going to answer. And he phones me and he answers me. And I goes, it's a book, Fawn.
Yes, it's a book.
It's a book. And so, yeah, that's kind of what... so they kind of know their mum will do some crazy stuff like that, but they didn't think it was going to be that crazy. So the invisible crown, I did it.
Yes.
And so, as you know, I didn't know technology, not my thing. So... I didn't know that every time someone came on the platform, I'd get a beep on my phone. And so that was okay. But the first day, it went beep, beep. And every time my heart jumped. Because it was like, oh, people are coming on my platform. Like, this is real.
Yes.
They want to meet up and talk. And then the next day, it was going maybe 10 times. The next day, 20 times. And by the end of the month, I had about 100 women on there all over North America. And I was like, I'm scared now. What do I do? And I said, oh, this is when you now create the group for them to meet up.
Yes.
And literally within 6 months, we were over 1,000 women all over North America.
Wow.
And I'm going to say this.
So they were yearning. Women were looking for this already.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It dispelled lots of myths.
Yeah.
That women want to come together and be together.
Yes.
People need to learn from each other. And why wouldn't you connect? Which is one of the gifts. I know there was lots of sadness in the pandemic, but the meetup really took a hold as a place where people could come together and communicate and connect and have some shared understandings.
And so let's explain a little, go a little deeper. Is the group international, national? Like,
it's international, but I would say that it's an international. But I would say it's there's over it's all over North America.
All over North America.
Yeah, that's where the majority of the women are from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
amazing. And so even though when you were back in Calgary, you were trying to do everything live and in person, and obviously, like you said, the pandemic changed that, you realized that there's power in building it through the internet, through just making it possible through the pandemic to connect with and build a group that you didn't all have to see each other live in person. Because is everyone part of the group everyone a part of this group you've met? Or would you say that you've only maybe met them through the internet or through a Zoom call? Or
no, I've not known anyone on there. I've met them all through all the women who joined it.
That have joined.
They were strangers to me until they came on the platform. Absolutely.
And so, but you've built your group and your business through the internet. Like, it's not like you've all met, like you don't have an annual or monthly live meetup.
No, but we will. We're going to get into that. But one of the reasons why I built it was that, like modeling some of the other business organizations, was that this is your team, your outside team. Like, you were in a business. Like, if you went to your day job, you would have a team, right, that you work with, your colleagues and everything. These could be your same colleagues. Some of them you'll just get the support, informal mentorship and so forth. But some of them will end up being your lifelong friends because there's synergies already. There's a collaboration happening. And that was the premise of moving it into not only just a meetup group, but an organization, in order for Black entrepreneurial women to find ongoing support as they grow, build, and sustain their businesses. And so then when I made that decision, it was along with my coach and my mentor, and also, which are key for businesses. Having mentors are really important. Yeah. And
you've talked about that multiple times, so I can see that has aided in your success and helped guide you along to accomplish the things that you have.
Yes.
I've used mentorship too. I think it's invaluable. I mean, anyone that's been successful, whether they're in sports or television or wherever, business, doctor, they all had mentor. In fact, most jobs, most work, and when you end up going out, or even while you're training, that's what they're doing. It's mentorship, coaching, it's guiding you.
100%, yeah. And I think that we can have informal mentorship when we come together as a community. I thought that changing my model from just community but resource-led was something that was in conjunction with talking to my mentor, but also my business advisor, where I actually had them for my Yellow Door coaching because I wanted to revise that. And they were like, why would you be here when all these women are here and they want something? My son would like to say, it's all these women have come to your shop. What are you going to put in your shop to give them? You can't, don't go outside the shop. Yeah. They're waiting in the shop for you to give you something. And I was like, oh, what do they need? Well, ask them.
Yes. Yes. And you did. You asked them and then you started providing?
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think this is another good place for us to take a short break and then we'll come back.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes. Okay. So we're ready. So I think one of the things that our viewers and myself would probably like to know more is, it seemed as if earlier on in your journey that you were quite comfortable being a part of group, helping to educate and communicate with groups, corporate groups, community groups at the library, right? You talked about that originally, and then when you started building this group around the pandemic, and you realized that you were getting all those notifications or beep, 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 and all of a sudden your group was growing, all of a sudden there was a bit of fear or uneasiness. Why? Maybe, and how did you overcome that?
So that's a great question. Absolutely. I think that, no, I don't think, I know. Mm-hmm. So those corporate things, when I built and made a product, mm-hmm. I was confident with my product. Mm-hmm. So I stepped into it and I could talk about my product. I had no issue selling my product. Mm-hmm. When I was in front of the stage of hundreds of people talking about parenting, talking about wellness, mental health, it's what I've been studying for the last, and doing for the last 35 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, entrepreneurialism, the shift, what was nervous was like, I felt like I was one of them. They were looking to me to be the leader, but I'm one of you. I don't know what I'm doing.
But you were being coached, so you were getting some guidance. So then, but how did you get through that? Because I can understand. I know what you mean. When I first left teaching to, step into building my own, it was a little scary. How did you get through it?
There was the thing that I started with, Imperfect action, as one of those. Which
willing to fail if you had to, or learn as you go. Like,
it was fail and learn. And they were hard because, and I found myself, even when I was talking on the stage with the women, even though it was online, mm-hmm. I was so concerned that I had to say the right thing. And I had to keep reminding myself, it's okay if you get it wrong and you're not able to answer their questions. And I did this back and forth. I ended up thinking, after feeling awful at the end of the meetings, because I felt, why did I say that? I should have said this. Oh my God, they're not going to come back.
We're our biggest critics.
They're not going to come back. Everybody's going to tell them. I started to invite professionals to do it. My coach and my mentor and my business advisor said, no, Allison, you are the expert. You have got this. You got to get in front of that. And it's been a journey, because I think one of the things for me is about that I've learned in this process as I grow my business, and because when you're growing your business, mm-hmm. Andrew, do you know you're actually growing yourself?
Absolutely. I have learned a lot about me in the process. Some of it hasn't been easy, like you said, and it's painful. Like, I don't want to know that I'm not good or that I can't do certain things. But like you, I heard you say technology, it's not your thing. I was not. Technology was not my thing. And even doing meetings online, building. But keep going. You absolutely learn more about you, I believe, as an entrepreneur than someone at a job.
100%. Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that I learned is about being gentle with yourself, mm-hmm. being patient with yourself, mm-hmm. and that it's okay to nurture the girl in you. Yes. That it's okay for it to be messy. Yes. And so go do something nice for yourself. Run a bubble bath. Go get your nails done. Whatever the thing that makes you feel better, because this work is hard work. It is. Right? And especially when you are so passionate about what you're doing, and it gets messy and you think, oh my God, and you get all those questions. So take the time. Mm-hmm. One of the things is about taking the time to look after yourself in that process.
Good. That's amazing. I totally agree. It's not easy, the journey of entrepreneurship, and that's why I feel like these conversations with you and many others will help everyone that's looking to endeavor in business or even if you stay at your job, the skill set and the training that you get from someone who's actually built something, it's invaluable.
It is invaluable. And I think one of the things that was really hard for me is that although I had all these people around me, they kind of mirrored my brain, like everything all over, different messages and stuff. So one of the things I felt really strongly is that I needed a roadmap. In parenting, I believe like we just need a roadmap. The road does not, we can go off course, but we need a roadmap. And so I created a roadmap for business because I felt that if there was anything that I wanted to impart on helping entrepreneurs be their best version of themselves, is have a roadmap so that once you pick up this book, this roadmap, you cannot fail. If you fail, it's because you're failing because you're ready to move on to something else, or you're learning that it's part of the journey.
So is this one of the books that you've written?
Yes, it is actually. Yes.
So I don't think we're trying to give everything away. You have an amazing organization and group that you're creating. And I've recently joined that organization because I'm excited to, like when you were talking earlier about being a part of this collective, I was thinking it's a tribe. It's a community that I'm going to have with me for life. It's going to help me, Andrea. And so I think you probably should tell people how they can connect with you so that they can have that before we wrap today. But also maybe share some of the key takeaways that someone could, because I think that entrepreneurship is hard, it's challenging, but what are some of the key things that you would want, maybe 3 things that you could pass on to someone that is listening and wanting to try entrepreneurship and building something of their own?
I think this might sound a little cliche. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Nothing gained. I don't know what the saying is. Nothing's done, nothing gained.
Yeah.
Do not wait for everything to be in the rows. Everything, just try it. Test
That's right.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Just test what you want.
It's funny because sometimes we spend so much time planning and preparing and like just do it and like let it work out. Like figure out the bugs and figure out the.
And you know, and sometimes it doesn't work. I wanted to do. This is an example about just experience it, feeling it, having the idea, and then just doing it.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry,
go ahead.
So I wanted to create an event where women could come and get called Dress for Success. So it was about being mentally, physically, and emotionally ready. So, but we would put some stuff around that, makeup artist, body, blah, blah, and everything. So what I did, I went to events and I'd stalk all these amazing women with their amazing stalls or whatever. And I'd say, hey, if there was an event where you could go to as a woman and it had someone to talk to you about dress and how to dress and different styles that suit your body and your shape, and someone to tell you about makeup and what compliments you, and someone about skincare and body care and mindset and everything, would you think you would come to that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's starting. That's saying, I have an idea and now I'm going to test it out. Because sometimes people think that you have to go and create the business, but you can test the business with the people around you by having those conversations. And so I did that.
Okay, excellent.
I did that.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, it was good. It was.
Sounds like it wasn't totally good.
But no one came.
No way!
Big lesson in that. No one came. And you know what? This is what I would say. You'll have lots of people kind of push it. Who do you think you are? You're not ready. You're too young. No one really knows you. You can't charge that amount and everything. Listen to your first gut, which is your brain. And if you feel you're ready to do that and deliver it,
yes.
Whatever it is. Second thing I would say is that I had lots of messages And I was only ready to see those messages along this journey as I built this, the Black Women Collective and the Dress for Success, was because I was patient with myself and I was able to be still. And I came right back to what my mum told me. The day before I went to Canada Startup Canada down in Brampton. I ended up being there, I don't even know, a big thing that traveled all over Canada and everything. And the keynote speaker, that's what he said. As he finished, he says, you have to, he told a story and he said, if only one person's in the room, you deliver like the room is packed. So I woke up that morning and the keynote speaker cancelled.
Oh no.
The makeup artist cancelled.
So what?
And I had sold no tickets, and the Instagram chef was coming to create these amazing delights. And I just said, my mum said, if you're going to do something, do it with 100% or don't do it at all.
Good for you. I don't know. I might have canceled myself. Did you go through with it?
I went through it. You know what? This is what I'm going to say. I went through it with it. And I feel quite emotional about it. The reason why was because you have to listen to your gut. Because what happened was that not only did I deliver like that room was packed, the chef was 2 hours late, by the way.
Oh
no! It was within an hour of me starting. 9 o'clock it was going to start. 9 o'clock, there was no one there, so I talked to the room for myself. Within a couple of hours, there was about 30 people, because I ended up giving away some free tickets.
Oh, okay.
And they're coming up, this is amazing, Allison. This is amazing. So you know what happens when you're in line with your purpose, you're surprised who comes round. And so what happened was that the more I delivered, the more I got filled up because people could not get over how amazing it was. You have to do it bigger next year. You have to do this. You have to do this. So I don't know how I fitted through those double doors. Yeah. Remember, I sold no tickets. I was probably down 10 grand. But let me tell you, it was the best thing I ever did.
Okay.
And the reason why, in that room, you never know who's in your room.
No.
So
tell us.
So I ended up being asked to put a proposal together for Dufferin School Board.
Wow.
To come in and teach the Black entrepreneurial students from age grade in high school over a 3-year period.
Wow.
And I won that contract. Then
amazing. From me, I would have canceled. So I don't know. You went through it, did it, and got even bigger and better out of it than you would have ever.
100%. I went down to Toronto a couple of days later to an event, an entrepreneurial event.
Yeah.
And there was one woman that was there from the event, and she carried me, and she said, I want to introduce you to all these women because I told them about your event. And they said, we're not missing it because you wore the crowns and everybody got to exchange crowns. We're not missing it. And that happened for weeks afterwards. Yeah. Those few people, because you never know who's in the room.
No.
And and for me, again, Andrea, it's about...
So it was still a massive success.
It was. Sometimes we have to understand, we cannot measure success about what society says. It would have been great to have sold all the tickets and have
have the people that you booked be there.
Yeah, and people to turn up and people to respect that. But you know what? I got more. Because it told me, more importantly, that you feel the fear and do it anyway. And then, guess what? You're going to do it bigger next time. Yeah. You're going to learn. Because how do you not learn? You don't. If I did it, I could have shut the door and everything. I would have learned nothing. No. All I would have learned is disappointment.
Yes. I would have been home in my bed somewhere.
Maybe, oh, no.
Licking my wounds. Oh, woe is me. No, but good for you.
I did that afterwards.
Yeah!
Yeah, no, I think that sometimes... Yeah. So I think if there was anything, there was only one word. I love this. In coaching, we always say, imagine there's a billboard and this is your last day on earth. and you want to send a message to everybody, what would you write on that billboard? Sometimes that 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 ability to sit and be present in your moment, to be here, allows you to get deeper than you ever thought in terms of understanding your purpose. Life purpose is a changing. It's not one thing, but it's about revisiting that. Yes, it is fluid. You're right, Andrea. It's very fluid. But often we're so busy in our lives that we don't remember that our mind and our body and our soul is all connected, and we need time to just reconnect.
Yes. Amazing. So there's so much to unpack there and so much to take away. But I think mostly that for me, perseverance, right? Because you said you started out with just do it, and you did, because I don't know if I would have gone through with it. So that's amazing. Now, because I want to wrap, I want people to have some value, because you had to have done a lot of work on you prior to get to that day as well. So maybe what are some books that you would have used to help create that strength and that mindset and that perseverance that you had to make that day unfold and become a success, even when everything was falling apart around you?
Great question. What
There
was so many. There's so many things that are to that, and yes, like I believe, right? People sometimes think that doing your work on yourself is talk therapy. Doing your work on yourself is not necessarily that. It can be a part of that. It's about it's like your mind, body, and soul, and about making sure that you're nurturing your mind and your soul. And so reading is my escape. Reading is something that I like. I love learning. And one of the things that I would say would be my superpower is reading. And I love books. I feel like I have to read books and then have books open here and then have paper, and I rewind my books again and again. I like audiobooks.
I love audiobooks.
I love reading books because I like the pen and paper. I like to write messages and everything because my brain just I get super excited about books. Even just talking about books.
I can see that.
So I would, and Susan Jefferson should really, I was so sad when she passed a few years ago, but she definitely, I read her at a very impressionable age. So if any young listeners, I would say, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's a great book.
Did your son ever read that book too?
He did, but you know what my son is? He's a crazy reader as well. But that's another podcast. Yeah. So, so that book and doing the exercise in it are really, really impactful. And that's not a book to read and put away. That's a book that you should revisit every other year because it reminds us for so many different reasons around how powerful we really are and how a capacity to achieve our goals. Remember, if you could dream it, that means you can do it.
Absolutely. I agree.
The second book that I would say, I'll speak to two books that I think have really helped me, which is the E-Myth Revisited. I think it was painful at times to read it because it meant that I had to walk backwards in order to walk forwards, but it really allowed me to understand what leadership is and that I need to do some unlearning to learn. And so I think that's a really good book because even if whatever you're doing, we're all leaders.
Yes.
And so, but we can be great leaders, right?
Yes.
We can be great leaders. And then... so
that's a leadership book, and then the Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Okay.
It's not a leadership book.
No. But you took out of it.
Yes. And the reason why I want people to... you will take what you need from it. It's one of those books. And then Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and E-Myth, and then what do you think I'm going to say?
Mindset by Carl Dweck. That's what I'm thinking.
It is, but if I was going to say there was a book that I feel that they could read, that I feel that will help them in their business, really practically give them the tools, is Atomic Habits.
Oh, yes. I've been listening to that one in the last year.
Such a great book. It's like, yes, I could give you so much other books. But I would say as well, if the book is not speaking to you, put it down because maybe you're not ready for it and pick it up another one. Yes. Because sometimes in our journey, as we build and grow our business, we are not ready for that information. And so coming back to Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, excellent book.
Yes.
To begin, like you're just testing the waters. Then you want to figure out who you are and what personality you are and how you want to show up in your business. Then that's a really good book to kind of spend some time kind of figuring it out, pausing, understanding why that's a gift, to pause.
Awesome. That's amazing. There's so many great books there. I would love for you to share with our viewers and listeners how they can reach you, because now, I'm certain that people are going to be reaching out to you and trying to find out how they can connect with you. Maybe even become a part of your Black Women Collective.
Okay.
So how do we reach you? How do we connect with you?
Well, you can reach me on every platform. I don't show up as strong as I should because I spend more time in my community that's off social media and at my community in Circle. But you can access that through my website. There's an opportunity to kind of meet with me. Because
I think, you offer a free session, right?
Yeah, I offer a free session, but also it's about meet with me. It's not me. Meet with the community. See the community. Hang out with other women. And you know what's so powerful around that, which I love about the Circle communities, because you can go on there and see all these beautiful Black women in all the different industries all over North America and a little bit all over the world, but they're mainly there.
You're growing.
Yeah. And I just think that it's, that's where they can contact me. But I'm on Instagram, _ the BW Global.
Okay.
And
we're going to put all of this in our bio or in the caption for you so that you'll have it all. But your website, did you say your website?
Yes.
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 Okay, so your website, Instagram, and pretty much all social media.
Yes, all social media. But if you really want to connect with me, then you can talk to me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so LinkedIn. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to wrap with that. Allison, it was amazing hearing your story. I could see the passion in what you do, and I could feel it, and I'm so glad that we could have you and share your story today. So thank you for coming on today and joining us.
Thank you very much.
Any
it was a pleasure.
Words? Yeah. Last words?
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
I love it. Feel the fear and do it anyways. I've lived by that too myself, so thank you, Allison.
Okay.
Awesome.
Enjoying our podcast? Stay connected beyond the episodes by following us on our other social media channels for exclusive content and updates. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share to help us grow and reach even more listeners. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep the conversation going.